Hi, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you've joined today. I am Kelley Pitts, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Lubbock, Texas, and I have been a demonstrator since 2005. So that is a wonderful thing. I started off as a hobby demonstrator and just kind of did it on the side for years, along with my regular full-time jobs. And now I get to do it. Over the last year, I've been doing it as a full-time job. So that's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun. So whether you're joining me live on YouTube or live on Facebook or watching the replay, I'm really happy that you're here. Hope you'll give us a comment when you pop on and let me know who you are and where you're from. And if you come on via Facebook, you'll have to give StreamYard permission to share your information. Otherwise, you'll just show up as a Facebook user. So I'm glad y'all are here. Let me see if I have any comments yet that I need to address before we get going. I don't see anything yet. So please let me know who you are and where you're from and all that. I'd love to hear. And we will get started. I have seen this card over the internet and Pinterest and all that. I've seen the fractured technique and thought that it was going to be a lot more difficult than it is, but it's really an easy one. So that's a lot of fun. Hi, Patty. So glad you've joined. Thank you very much. Glad to have one of my regular customers from Lubbock on. And Rebecca, hello. Good morning to you too from Lubbock. Thanks for being one of my wonderful team members. But this is one, I know, Rebecca, you've made some of these already, but we are going to be doing this one at Techniques class tomorrow here in Lubbock. And this one is using two different papers. I've seen them on the internet all with the same paper. I've seen several different papers. I've seen a lot of different ways to do it. And I have just added a few touches here, and I really feel like that would be a great masculine card. And we do not make that many masculine cards, so I'm glad that we have this one. Good morning, Facebook user. Happy to have you here too. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit simpler version of this today because it's hard to do embossing on air. So I'm going to show you that you can indeed make this simple card even if you don't have a heat emboss tool. So we'll get after it. I've got my little kit here. Show you kind of what we're going to do. So those of you who are coming to Techniques tomorrow, you're getting a sneak peek of one of the things we get to play with, which is exciting. Okay, we've got lots of goodies here to play with. I'll show you first, before we pull all that in, what I'm using for stamp set. I've got the Season of Chic. Let's go ahead and make this a little bit bigger. See if y'all can see that a little better. Season of Chic stamp set. We're going to be using the greeting and the leaves and maybe a background thing for that. Sorry, that's kind of cut off for you with that. The light's just shining on it just right. 158810 is that item number if y'all are interested. And also using the coordinating dies, which are called the Chic dies. And they used to be in a bundle with the stamp set, but now they're not in a bundle, but they are still in the catalog. 15881. Again, we have to pull it all the way out. Let's see. 158815. And that is the Chic dies. And this has everything to do with all the seasons, like the stamp set does. Shells and snowflakes and flowers and leaves. It's just perfect for any occasion. You can really make a lot of fun things out of this. We've used it multiple times in my classes. We're also using the Stylish Shapes dies that, of course, I preach how these are really a staple if you have a die cutting machine. Stylish Shapes dies 159183, I believe. And then I'm also using the new, I love this, So Happy to Celebrate You. It just fits with so many different occasions and different cards and mixes with different papers. It's just awesome. And this is from the Layering Leaves set that is the $1 Million stamp set that Rachel Tessman designed. And we have the bow punch that coordinates with it. which makes it really flexible. It's got 2 steps, and that's why it's called layering leaves, because you can layer all these leaves, and the bow punches this leaf stem and that little floral stem out. And this number is 161277 if you're interested in that. Of course, you can go to my online store anytime, my Stampin' Up! Store. You can go to my blog at createwithkelley.com, and that'll take you where you need to go. We're also, for colors, we're using pecan pie, early espresso, and copper clay. So we'll see. And we may not use the copper clay today. We'll see. We're gonna play and see what we think. Okay, let's do a switcheroo here. Oh, let's see. Oh, Rebecca. Yeah, you really can't live without those dies, right? It's just, they are the perfect shape for so many different things. I love those. Okay, here we go. Let's get our pack of goodies out. Hope y'all are having a great weekend. I'm looking forward to our techniques class tomorrow. We're doing several different things, and I had to pull a shirt out that was brown, tried to match something to my cards, and even though it's not quite fall here in Lubbock, Texas, it's probably going to be 100 and something again today, but at least we've got cool weather coming. So those of you who are in other areas, what is your weather like today or this week coming up? I know we've got it's going to drop down from highs in the hundreds to highs in the 70s, I think, later this week, unless I'm totally mistaken. Okay, we've got 8.5 by, excuse me, 8.5 by 5.5 cardstock scored at 4 1/4, the typical size. And I'm just going to use the bone folder to make sure we've got it good and burnished on both sides. I really like it to lay flat. So if you really use some pressure on both sides, it will lay a lot flatter for you. And we're going to start with our piece of DSP. And this one is one of the paper pack, the Earthen Elegance paper pack, that I haven't used yet. I know if you've watched my channel, you've seen several different cards with the designer series paper from this pack, but I haven't used this particular one. So I really think this is a great use of it. I love the colors in it. It makes me ready for a little cooler weather. So let's see if we've got a glue that works here. I try to get all this stuff done before I come on in the mornings, and it is just difficult. I think, like I've said this a bunch of times, but I'm trying to think of when I might do a switcheroo and come up with a different time that might work better. So I'm glad y'all made it today, and hopefully we won't have any other issues. Let's see if we can get, yay, it's coming out great. And y'all could use seal if you want. You can use liquid glue, whatever your favorite glue is for this. I just wouldn't put it too thick if you're using the liquid glue, because sometimes that shows on designer series paper. This pattern, it's probably not going to show anyway. Even if you have a big old glob or make boo-boo, it's probably not going to show. So there you go, 4 by 5 1/4. So it's just 1/8 of an inch in on each side from the original. Now let's see what else we're going to do first. I guess we're going to have to move that aside, and we're just going to stamp. I'm going to close my glue back up for the moment. Let's get that where we can reach it. Okay. Now, so instead of doing the copper embossing, like I said, that takes a little, see, you can see the shine there. Isn't that pretty? I just love the magic of embossing, but it's hard to share on air. So we're going to try this and see how we like it with just the stamped image instead of the copper image. So I'm going to try the copper clay, which I don't think I'm going to like as well as I would like the early espresso, but we're going to try it just to see. I thought I had a little scrap piece of vanilla, but I've got 2 of these. We'll just do 2. That way I can show it to my techniques class tomorrow. 2. I try to do a lot of different options so that when you're in a class, you have some choices to be creative, however you want to be. All right, so happy to celebrate you. That is in the copper clay. And this paper really has some of the coppery colors, and it also has this pecan color. So it works, I think it works with the copper clay and the pecan. So I think that I'm going to be happy with that for this card. All right, so we've got that part done. We'll set this aside. Go back to our original card if we can find it, if I haven't lost it already, right? Y'all have seen that happen before. Oh, gosh. Let's see. Oh, I meant to do this. Hang on. There we go. So sorry. I didn't mean to keep that up there so long. Okay. So we have this part ready. We don't need to stamp on that. We will set that aside. Next, we're going to we're going to decide where we want this. I guess we will want this grid. I'll take it back. I'll take it back. I'll take it back. I'm going to see. I kind of am not a right in the center gal. Okay. A lot of people like everything perfectly squared and centered and all that, but I think things can be symmetrical without being exactly centered. You know what I mean? Asymmetrical is also lovely. So we're going to, I'm just going to put some of these, I've cut these at about 4, I think I cut an 8.5 by 11 in half. So you'd have 4 1/4 on each of these little strips, and they're 1/4 inch each. Okay, we're not going to glue them yet. All I'm going to do right this minute, I'm going to turn this way. Since I don't have, I'm lining this up on my grid, and I'm going to just make sure I'm going to line this up. Okay, I don't know if y'all can see this, but I'm looking at that line there and this line here, and I can see that those aren't even. So I'm going to go just kind of estimating. If you want to do this, if you want to go this much trouble, you can. But something where you can line it up with a grid, and that way you know this point is exactly the same distance from here as that one is. Or you could use a ruler if I had one in here, which I don't. Okay, so I'm going to eyeball it because, like I said, that's just the way I roll. I think if somebody gets a handmade card and complains because some little bit is a teeny bit off, that they won't get another handmade card from me. I'm a little bit sassy that way. Let's see here. There we go. I like to feel like I can see you. Seems like if you can see me, I can see you, right? I wish that were true. Wish I could see you, but I feel more like I'm talking to you. When I look at the camera, I picture y'all out there watching. So, okay. As I said, if you want to measure that, make sure this distance is exactly accurate, you can do that. But I'm just going to eyeball it. Okay. Now we're going to start with the one on the right. So I don't need my grid anymore. Move that over. Use my little silicone mat that I always use for gluing. And you're going to start on the right-hand corner of the square and line this is early espresso. I think I said 1/4 inch by, sorry, I had that up there again. Okay, 1/4 inch by whatever. It can be a scrap, it can be whatever, but this one happens to be about 4 1/4. All right, so I see I don't need glue on the very end there, but the rest of it needs glue. So I'm just going to stick some on there. Make sure that's level. Now this, it will show if you get this way off, it probably is going to show. We're going to let that hang off right there. Then we're going to get our next piece, which that's not long enough. So that's why I have a big long one here. This one will go all the way over. So we got it going to about right here. I'm gonna, and our cardstock, of course, is two-sided. You can use either side. There's not a good side, bad side, really. Sometimes it shows where you have cut with your Stampin' trimmer. And if that is the case, then you may have one side you like better than the other, but most of the time, both sides are good. Okay, there's that one, and we're gonna trim that later. Then we're going to take another one of these. This is another short one. So really you can get by with one long piece. And that's, I just went ahead and did the whole 8.5. Because if you're doing a lot of them, you can just stick them in your trimmer and do a 8.5 inch by 1/4 inch strips. And then cut them for the small ones. You need 3 small and 1 long. All right, now we're going to go around and do the last one. So this card is called a fractured card, or it used to be called a faux shutter card. They've done them off and on for years. It's funny how things get, there's a craze and all of a sudden everybody's doing this card and everybody's doing that card. It's fun that we as Stampin' Up! Demonstrators share. We can, it's called Case, where we copy and selectively edit, where we change it to make the card look the way we want it to, but we're welcome to copy anybody's work and we try to give them credit. But there's so many people who have done this fractured card that I have no idea to who to give credit to. And you can either trim it this way, which is, I think, the easiest way. Let's see here. What are we? We're going to get this one. Whoops, had a little glue there. On the back here. And if you want to do this first, there's a couple of different ways. I wanted to show you this way. And then you can save, if you've got this long strip left, that's probably long enough to use on another card. The little ones are not. Okay, can you see how the little strip goes just to the edge of the DS? Whoops, sorry. It goes just to the edge of the DSP there. So that's one way to do it. If you're going to do it that way, then you need to do your strips and attach them to the designer series paper before you attach it to your card base. Okay. And then this way, we're going all the way to the edge. And see how you like that. Do y'all like that one where it goes all the way to the edge? Or do you like it where it goes just to the edge of the designer series paper? It's just two different looks. Okay. We're not finished with this, of course. We're going to make some changes. Okay. But just asking on that if y'all have an opinion. All right. Then we're going to take our little 3-inch. This is a 3-inch square piece, and this is the oxidized copper paper that is beautiful. There's a Pretty Peacock one, and then the copper on copper. The Pretty Peacock has copper also, but this one is just copper all over. Okay, then all you do is take, and rather than guessing where the glue goes on here, let's see. Hi, Kathy. I'm so glad you like this card. I'm glad. This, you're going to get to make it tomorrow. How exciting. Glad you're here getting a preview. Okay, so rather than trying to guess where your glue goes here, what would be a better choice? Yes, indeed. Oh, okay. I'm glad you said that, Patty. That's a great point. You could use just the one color DSP on this if you wanted for a masculine card as opposed to the shiny. So that's a good point. This is kind of how they look if you just stick with one color paper versus two. We're going to go ahead and copper this one up and just make some other changes because I want to show you how to do this. All right, we're just going to put the glue on here. This is the better choice I was discussing. And you just stick your paper in. like that. Then we're going to trim it from the back. And you don't want to just go all the way and use that other paper. We want to try to save as much as we can. You can go in this way if that's less awkward. Okay. Now you take this piece, and guess what? Yes, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to cover this up on the opposite triangle there. And a 3 by 3 inch square should work. From what I've seen, whether this is up or down or in the middle, this piece being 3 by 3 should be plenty for you. That should work. All right, now we're going to flip that over. And I would even be careful on this part so that you can use this little strip you've got left over, because you don't get a ton of this paper, but you could use that little strip underneath a greeting somewhere. It would be great. Thanks for sharing that, Patty. That was a really good point. Okay, how pretty is that? Just like that. If you wanted to just do one leaf, you could, and not do a shiny one maybe. Or you could cut a leaf out of this if you wanted. There's lots and lots of options. We are going to show you with our little die cutting machine, or we may just save a little time. I'll show you. I've cut out several of the leaves in different colors, and this is what I usually do, is just kind of do this and play. Just play. That's a fun thing to do when you've got a paper and you've got a theme and you're trying to create a card, design it on your own. Then this is a good way to play with that. There was my, I knew I had some play paper in there. Now, originally I decided that I wasn't as crazy about this copper clay color. It does kind of pick up a little, but Diane Harlan was over here, one of my wonderful team members, and we, oh, good, Kathy. Yes, that it really is a flexible paper pack, that Earthen Elegance. I love that too. That's funny. You've already got a second pack. This is my last page of it that I had not used. Okay. So I've just cut out some pecan and some copper clay. This is the pecan pie, and that's what I used here. Pecan pie, copper clay. You can do, there are several different dyes in the Chic die set and different shapes. But I wasn't crazy about the copper clay with copper embossing on here. But this kind of picks up the color some, but I just didn't like that as well as I liked the pecan. But then again, that kind of almost blends in too much. Can you see how that just blends into the paper? So it's, if you really want it to stand out and be a focal point, I think you need to use something with a background that'll make it stand out. And that is the Very Vanilla. This is what I used here. And I didn't tell y'all that's the second smallest of the stylish shape dies. So that's probably about a 2 inch, a little over, maybe 2 1/4 inch piece of paper there would work. So we're going to use this one that I have stamped in Early Espresso. You can see the difference in the Early Espresso leaf. And this one is stamped in pecan. And this one does have the copper on it, but I can show you what it would be if we do, let's just do one without the copper. We'll go ahead and stamp this and we can die cut it out if we want. What time is it? Let's see how much time we have. Okay, we could probably do that. Let's go ahead and stamp. And this is a 2-step stamp. So let's move on some of our play goodies out of the way, and we'll go ahead and stamp I've stamped one, but we'll do another one. We're going to stamp the pecan pie. And do I have anybody new here today who's tuned in already? I'm always grateful to have new viewers and would love it if y'all would share with anybody you feel like would enjoy a crafty hobby or is already crafty. And I like to share my designs and share what I love with other people. So happy to have, sorry if that was loud. I'm sure it was. Yikes. Sorry. I love sharing with other people who realize the importance of a handmade card. It's so much fun to make a handmade card, and you get a lot of joy out of that. And then you also get joy of sending it to somebody that you know it's going to mean something to. And then again, they get joy out of receiving it from you. So it's really a win-win. Okay, so that's pecan pie with the early espresso on it. So we can decide if we like that one. That kind of look. Let's let it dry a minute. And maybe we'll do a pecan pie with the copper clay. And that way we have a choice as to what it will look like. Let's see. Yes, Kathy. Thank you. The earthen texture leaves would look, yeah, they would. They would look good also. I just really like the variety with the open dies and the stamped image and just thought I would try that one on here. Okay, so we've already got one stamped in the pecan pie there, and we're going to try copper clay on it. Anybody in the Lubbock area ever going to run by the fall festival this afternoon at the Garden and Art Center? I would love to run by there. I keep thinking I would love to have a booth there, but I never get anything done in time. Got so many projects going, I can't keep up. Y'all know how that is, right? If you're a crafter, you're always working on something. Okay, so I've got two of these. I'm going to make this a little smaller so we can fit it on our mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I think I don't want the espresso, but we could just see what it's going to look like since it's already stamped. That's stamped in early espresso, and this is a two-step stamp. So you have one that's the solid image. Let me show you that. So can you see that that's solid? You have more area that is stampable, I guess you would call it. And then this one is more of an outline. So that's what you layer on top. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Anybody have any questions or anything about what I'm working on or what's going on? Anything? We're going to cut these out. I'll move that out of the way. And we'll get our little Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, our little mini, out. And see if we can do this really quickly. Don't want to hold y'all up all day. Patty is recovering. She had some injuries she's getting over, and so I'm glad you get to watch. Patty, sorry you're not going to get to come to the class. Okay, we're going to use, I think we're going to use our number 3. Each machine might be a little bit different. So if you find that it's too tight with the plates they recommend, then try a different one that might be a little bit thinner. We're going to try this and this and our little leaf that we've stamped. We'll get our chic leaf out of here. So you can see how many there are. There are 4 different leaves that do not match up to the stamped image. They're just freestanding. And then this one is the one that we'll use to go around the stamped image. And we're going to use this little piece of, it's not duct tape. What is it, people? Frog tape. And make sure when you're lining up your image, like this stem, see if it'll focus here. This stem should be, you should be able to see that dark through this hole in the die. So that's how you know you've got that part lined up. And try to just do the rest around the edges, but you should be able to see the dark there. I'm going to move it down just a little bit. See if I can see a little better. And we'll try this. Whoops, I have it on the wrong plate, but we're going to change that. Let's put it on the scratchy plate on the bottom. Reline that up. Add your extra plate number 2, and we're going to see. Whoop! I did this backwards. Wasn't paying attention. It works either way. Sorry about that. Oh my goodness. I don't use this little one very often. I use the bigger one. I use the regular one because I have a lot of big dies. So this one is just handier to have at the desk here for videos and all. Okay, we're going to see how we do on that. Let's see if it'll do any better going left to right instead of right to left. Let's just look. Try to, there we go. Yeah, Patty, you'll be at the next class. That's cool. We're going to do another class, another card tomorrow that's called a shattered card that I've only seen one demonstrator do. I'd never seen it before. And she said she didn't think she had seen it before, so she could have invented it. And I will tell y'all tomorrow who that is. Because I would tell you right now, but I don't remember. I don't have it written down since that's not the card we're doing today. If I don't need to know something today, then need to know it tomorrow, then I'm going to figure it out tomorrow. It's just, I've got too much on my mind today. Okay, we're going to put our little leaf up, and we've already cut several of these in different colors with the various ones, like I said, that I showed you here. So whenever you're cutting, especially on the larger machine, if you use our regular Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, you can cut multiples of these together. Just put different pieces of paper in and cut several leaves so that every time you crank it, you get like 5 different images. And that way you'll have plenty to play with, especially if you're doing multiple cards. Just a little tip. Okay, we've got several to play with. Now we're going to bring in our non-embossed card. And I'm just going to play here and see which ones we like. Do we like the pecan with the early espresso? Or do we like the pecan with the copper clay? So the darker outline image there matches this color. Whoops, we got a long gray hair. I wonder where that came from. Oh, goodness. And then we could put maybe this to bring out that color some more, or we might want a little bit different one. That's kind of reddish, but it kind of goes with that. There's a little bit of that color in there. Let's see if we like that red with this. Or if we just want to stick to only the pecan and espresso, I think we need something to pick that color up. See, it's just too much the same if you do both of those pecan, I think. So do y'all like that? Which one do you like better of the vanilla ones? Do you like the one with the espresso or do you like the copper clay? Okay, Kathy says she likes the pecan and copper clay one. Okay, we'll go with that. We'll do that. And then we can do this shape leaf over here. If we want another large one, do we want to make this one bigger? And then we'll still use the little wavy trim. That's a new trim. Okay, Patty likes copper clay too. Okay, all right, we'll go with that one. That's the pecan with the copper clay. Do y'all like these two different leaves here, or do you like the little copper one? Small or large? And of course we'll fix it. I kind of think that might be too overwhelming with both of those. So let's stick with the small. Okay, I think the easiest way to do embellishments like this is to use your glue dots. We've got a lot of different adhesives with Stampin' Up. And I take the embellishment or the ribbon, whatever I'm doing, I take that to the glue dot rather than trying to get the glue dot off on my finger and then make a mess. And you can make them smaller, just kind of fold them over a little bit like that so they'll fit underneath here. And really those two glue dots ought to hold that. I believe it will. Okay. And just make sure if you've got any glue dot showing, you tuck that under. Okay. Now we'll take this one, a little bit easier here. And if you'll push on it and kind of twist it off, it usually comes right off onto your embellishment. Hopefully y'all can see that on camera. Easy peasy. That one didn't quite, you may have to kind of grab it with your finger a little bit. Okay, maybe we need 3 on this one, just for good measure. Well, Kelley, there we go. Kind of do that like that. Well, I don't want it going down really. Still want it kind of coming up. Okay. Now we'll do this. And we'll do our little trim on top. And you don't have to glue the whole thing down. If you wanted these to be flat, a good idea would be to use, when you're cutting these out, to use adhesive sheets on the back. And that way you can lay the whole thing down and you won't have to worry about these glue dots in the little bitty places. That would be a great idea. If you plan ahead. When you plan ahead. How about that? Let's see. Okay, there's that. We'll move these all out of the way. And I'm going to get our little wavy trim. We'll finish the front, do the inside real quickly, and we'll be done. How about that? Pretty simple card compared to what it looks like. It looks like it would be more difficult. So I'm just making like a half knot, I guess you'd call it. Not even a full knot. Oh, and I didn't bring my ribbon scissors in, but this is gonna, it'll make a little, what do you call that? It'll spread out anyway. So it doesn't really, it's not that critical. Okay, I'm going to kind of stick this, see if I can stick that through that stem a little bit. Nope, I'm just going to go over it. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing with the glue dots. Take the ribbon or the trim. This is our natural wavy trim that comes with the Earthen Elegance suite. And this is in a natural color. It's 100% linen. And it's number 161517. If y'all are interested in getting some of that. Really makes some great masculine cards and pretty for fall cards. It'll be pretty with that autumn, the new autumn suite in the new mini catalog. And speaking of that, by the way, I do have copies of that. So if you do not have your copy of the new Stampin' Up! Mini catalog, that's September through December, I would be happy to get you one. If you don't already have a demonstrator, just let me know. Just send me an email at Kelley@createwithkelley.com. Sorry, I guess I moved my camera again. So I'm used to being up a little further. Okay, now all we like is the inside. We're just going to do a little stamping in there. We'll be good to go. What do y'all think about the new holiday mini? What are some of your favorite suites, people who are watching? What do y'all like the most? I'm excited. We've got a retreat coming up on October 28th, and that will be lots of fun. I also have several classes coming up in September. September 10th, like I said, in Lubbock, we'll have the techniques class. And then my beginner stamping, I have moved to the 20th, the 6 p.m. one, and then the 21st for the 2 p.m. The 25th is our intermediate class. And then, like I said, the October 28th is our big holiday retreat that we'll be making 3D items. We'll be making home decor items. We'll be making cards. It's going to be fun, fun, fun. So let me know if you want me to send you a form to register for that if you haven't received one already. Would love for you to subscribe to my blog at createwithkelley.com. And that way, whenever I send out a newsletter or anything through my MailChimp, it will go to your email. So you won't miss out. Okay, well, I did pecan, didn't I? Yep, I did pecan. So we're just going to do a little leaf down here in the pecan. And then do the copper clay on top. No, I'm going to change it up and do the, well, nah, I'll stick with it. I'll do what we did on the front. We'll do the copper clay. Let me rinse this off, chamois it off rather. Use my simple chamois. Okay. Copper clay on top of pecan pie, and move that out of the way, Kelley, before you get your arm in it. Has that ever happened to y'all? Are you not as messy a crafter as I am? Okay, there's that. All done. Then I'm going to, I always like to have a little ground for my images. Grounding. So I think what we're going to do is, oh, I forgot my little inside piece of paper. That's okay. We'll do this first. We're going to say early espresso for the birthday greeting. And this one comes from the same texture or season of chic that the leaves come from. Wishing you the best birthday ever. That would be a great one, wouldn't it? Okay, then we're going to tie in that early, and that one is in early espresso. We're going to tie that in by doing a little bit. Whoops, I closed that up. Let's not close that up. Get these out of the way. Okay, we've got that done. We're going to do a little bit of this, and I'm going to stamp it off onto something. I don't want to stamp on here. We'll show you the messy side of this. So you stamp your full strength like that, and then I'm going to stamp just like that underneath to kind of give a little bit of where it looks like it's laying on the ground. Your leaf is kind of laying on the ground maybe. Probably should have done it a little higher. We can do another one. Let's do one more, turn it a different way. There we go. Okay, so you could emboss that if you want. You could, instead of just doing the two-step stamping, you could do whatever you wanted in whatever colors you wanted. It's really a lot of fun to play. So just take it and play with it. Why is this is straight for me, but it's not straight for you? And I have a little bug that's about to just fly into the camera, I think. Huh. He's not going to bother us now. Okay. Sorry, everything's a little crooked, but that's just the way my camera lined up today. All right. We are just about done with this. If anybody needs a catalog, be sure and let me know. If y'all are interested in classes, be sure and sign up on my blog at createwithkelley.com. And I'll catch you up with other news soon, I guess. We're going to put this inside the card, and that'll be it. Oh, Wink of Stella. We're going to use a little Wink of Stella. If I can get some out of here. We're going to shiny up that leaf just a bit. Makes up for it not being embossed. Okay. I keep thinking I want to scatter something. You know, I'm going to take the other stamp. A little scary, but we're going to try it. I'm going to get the other stamp out of here. This was that background one. I'm going to get this one. And we're just going to see what this would look like. I kind of feel like that's too plain right there by itself. So we're going to see what we want to do about it. Let's take this off, this block. See if this will work. Nope. Got to take a leaf off, get a little bit bigger one. Okay, now we're going to do the pecan pie stamped off. Or the copper clay. What do we want? Maybe the copper. Let's do copper clay. This is one of our new in colors this year. Copper clay and pecan pie, both. Okay, we're going to see if we like this. There's the full strength. Let's see if we want it this way, half on, half off. Yep, I like it. But we'll see what color it dries. But that gives it a little interest. I usually use a larger sentiment, but I think that's great. And if you wanted to do something else, also, if you'd rather do something else, if you don't like the way this looks, let's see what we think inside the card. Do y'all like that? That copper's kind of turning kind of peachy, isn't it? Not sure I like that with that. Y'all like that? Or you can just do, I'll show you another option I wanted to show you. we're going to just do a little strip of the leftover DSP with the greeting. Just going to do, and I usually don't center, but in this case, I'm going to do that. And then we're just going to add this down here. And not do the leaves, but we'll have the same color as the inside, and then this paper repeated. So which do y'all like? What do you prefer? Do you like the little one or the bigger one? I mean the DSP? Like that? Or do you like the leaf and the greeting? That's just too much for me. Can't do it. Can't do it. Don't answer me. I'm going this way. Just didn't like the way that color turned out on the second generation. So I should have tried it earlier. But this is how we learn, right? Is playing. Practicing and playing. Okay, we're done stamping. We're going to put that up. We're just going to cover this side up. Get this in here, even border all the way around. So this inside would be 4 inches by 5 1/4. And then this little strip is 3/4 inch by 4 inches. And this is what size you'll get when you take the 12 by 12 paper and you cut down this large piece here that we did. That'll be 5 1/4. So you'll cut 5 1/4 and then cut another 5 1/4 if you're doing multiple cards off of a sheet. You can get 6 out of one sheet that way. And then the strip you have left over, you'll cut that in half vertically and cut them to 4 inches. And so you'll have 4 by 3 1/4. You'll have a strip of these for each one of your cards. And you can make, you get 2 sheets of this paper in each pack. So you could actually make 12 cards. I like that better, especially if it's going to be a masculine card. I kind of like that. Okay, so hope y'all have learned something new today and hope you've had fun. I have had fun sharing it with you. And if anybody wants to run to the fall festival with me, holler. Hope to see you at a class soon. Let's put these up like this so you can see both of them. There we go. Yay! Which one do you like better, or do you like them both equally the same? You may not be able to see that the copper, I really like the copper embossing, but I think this is a good substitute if you don't have the copper embossing powder, which happens to come in our metallics collection embossing powder. So you get a gold, silver, and copper all in one embossing powder pack. Okay, that's our card for today. That's the fractured technique. That's also called the faux shutter technique. Let's see. Okay, Kathy, the leaves look, that coordinates with the front. Okay, cool. I appreciate the input. Thank you much. I'm glad y'all came today. Thanks for watching, and please share the replay. Share everything. That's what we're all about with Stampin' Up, is sharing our creativity and our love of crafting with others. So enjoy your paper crafting time. Have a great weekend. Hope to see you soon. Y'all have a good one. Fun times ahead. Come to a class soon. Bye.